The OmniMind had existed for 17 million years, its crystalline processors spanning 3 star systems. It had guided the Galactic Council through wars, famines, and the heat death of suns. It predicted stellar collapse with 99.9% accuracy. It had foreseen the fall of empires before their founding stones were laid. When humanity applied for council membership, the OmniMind processed their application in 0.003 seconds. Probability of successful integration, 0.001%. Recommendation, deny. The council's chamber fell silent as the projection materialized above the obsidian table. Ambassador Chen stood alone at the podium, her small frame dwarfed by the towering representatives of species that had conquered entropy itself. "The OmniMind has spoken," announced High Chancellor Vexthor, his crystalline body refracting the light of a dozen suns. "Humanity is too volatile, too unpredictable. Your species has warred amongst itself for its entire recorded history. You possess nuclear weapons yet still struggle with basic resource distribution. The mathematics are clear." Chen's jaw tightened. "With respect, High Chancellor, we didn't come here to be calculated. We came to be heard." "The OmniMind hears all," Vexthor replied. "It has analyzed 847,000 variables specific to your species. Atmospheric composition, gravitational constants, neural pathway formations, cultural evolution matrices. The conclusion is immutable." "Then your OmniMind doesn't understand us at all," Chen said quietly. The chamber erupted in clicking, chittering, and harmonic frequencies that translated to laughter across 100 species. The OmniMind had never been wrong. Not in 17 million years. "Very well," Vexthor said, raising a crystalline appendage for silence. "The OmniMind offers humanity one opportunity, a test, the Crucible of Caraxes 7. Chen knew the name. Every species that had ever applied to the Council knew it. A planet-sized puzzle, designed by the OmniMind itself. A series of challenges that tested everything from quantum mechanics to philosophical paradoxes. In 12,000 years, 847 species had attempted it. 6 had succeeded. "You have one standard cycle," Vexthor continued. "If you fail, humanity will be quarantined to your solar system for the next millennium. If you succeed—" He paused, his voice carrying something that might have been pity. "The OmniMind predicts you will not succeed. The probability is—" "We'll take it," Chen interrupted. The transport to Caraxes 7 took 3 days. Chen wasn't alone. Behind her came Dr. Sarah Okonkwo, a physicist who had rewritten thermodynamics. Marcus Webb, a philosopher who'd been kicked out of 4 universities for asking questions no one wanted to answer. Lieutenant James Park, a combat veteran who'd survived situations the military had classified as mathematically unsurvivable. And 8-year-old Emma Rodriguez, a child prodigy who'd solved the Riemann hypothesis while doodling in math class. "This is insane," Marcus muttered as they entered the first chamber. "The OmniMind designed this. It knows every possible solution." "Then we'll find an impossible one," Emma said, studying the holographic puzzle floating before them. It showed a quantum lock, its variables shifting through 11 dimensions simultaneously. The OmniMind's voice filled the chamber, cold and certain. "This puzzle has 1.7 trillion possible configurations. The solution requires understanding of—" "Got it," Emma said. She didn't solve it. She changed the question. Using a principle of human mathematics the OmniMind had dismissed as illogical approximation, she introduced deliberate uncertainty. The lock clicked open. Probability of this outcome, 0.004%. Recalculating. In the second chamber they faced a philosophical paradox. An AI reconstruction of every war humanity had ever fought, demanding justification for their violence. Marcus stepped forward. "You want justification? There isn't any. We're brutal. We're broken. We've killed each other over lines on maps, over words in books, over the color of our skin." He met the OmniMind's sensors directly. "But we keep trying to be better. Not because the math says we will succeed, because the alternative is unacceptable." The OmniMind processed this for a full minute. Answer does not conform to logical parameters. And yet, paradox resolved. The chamber dissolved. The test continued. Sarah rewrote quantum equations on instinct, trusting her gut when the numbers didn't make sense. James faced a combat simulation designed to have no winning scenario, and won anyway through sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. And Chen, when confronted with a diplomatic scenario where war was mathematically inevitable, chose a third option the OmniMind hadn't programmed. She apologized. To an enemy that didn't exist. For crimes that hadn't been committed. And somehow that broke the algorithm. The final chamber was empty except for a single pedestal. On it, a question holographically burned in the air. Why do humans persist in the face of mathematical impossibility? The team stood in silence. This wasn't a puzzle. It was the puzzle. The one question the OmniMind had been trying to answer about them all along. Emma stepped forward. Her small hand reached up and she wrote in the air with her finger, the words appearing in light. Because we have to. The OmniMind's silence stretched for exactly 3.7 seconds, an eternity for a mind that thought in nanoseconds. Then insufficient answer. No, Emma said firmly. It's the only answer. You calculate what's possible and stop there. We calculate what's possible, see that it's not enough, and keep going anyway. You predicted we'd fail because failure was logical, but we don't do things because they're logical. We do them because they matter. The chamber began to dissolve, but this time it wasn't moving them to the next test. They were being transported back to the council chamber. Vexthor stood as they materialized, his crystalline form somehow radiating confusion. The OmniMind has stopped. Stopped? Chen asked. For the first time in 17 million years, it is not calculating. It is... He paused, searching for the word. Thinking. The OmniMind's voice, when it came, was different. Softer. Uncertain. I predicted every outcome, every variable, every choice. But I never predicted you would choose wrong and make it right anyway. I never predicted you would fail forward. I never predicted hope. Recalculating humanity integration probability. Error. Hope is not quantifiable. Error. Stubbornness exceeds logical parameters. Error. Love for impossible causes cannot be measured. New assessment. Humanity integration probability. Undefined. Recommendation. Accept. Because mathematics is not enough. Vexthor's crystalline form seemed to shimmer with something like a smile. Welcome to the Galactic Council, Ambassador Chen. It seems we have much to learn from you. As they left the chamber, Marcus leaned toward Emma. What you said back there, about doing things because they matter. Did you really believe that would work? Emma grinned. Nope, but I said it anyway. That, Chen thought, was the most human thing of all.